are live. Skit star. Dun, 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 dun. We are live. We are live. we're skit saying. That's right. Manaman. Hey everybody, welcome to Into the Core podcast. I'm your girl Linda, and you are live with myself and the amazing, oh so talented Kenny Allen, who's sitting right over here. Woo!
Raise it
Oh
up,
yeah,
raise it
Skitsta.
up, raise it up. What's up, Linda? Nice
Hey
to be here.
honey.
Nice to
I
be here.
know.
What's
Hey,
good?
now that I have you here, I just wanted you to listen to your work because this is how I do it in the 254. So I usually do my intro, and my intro starts right here, right now, before we get to chatting. Proudly produced by the one, the only Kenny Allen. Into the core.
Get into it.
All good things in Africa and beyond. Into the core.
Get into it.
Into the core.
Get into it.
Into the core.
Get into it.
All good things in Africa and beyond. That's right. We're talking about all good things in Africa and beyond. And beyond this, I got to say thank you to my partners, Nokia, for rocking and rolling with me since I started this podcast. It has been absolutely fantastic, and I really thank you so very much. All right, let's get into it. Kenny Allen.
What's up,
Karibu.
Linda?
How are you doing,
Karibu.
darling?
Sawa.
Sawa sawa. Kuna matata.
Couldn't matata, dude.
That is such
Totally
an
agree with
American thing.
What, to stereotype it like that?
Yeah, with the Hakuna Matata, especially with that accent. But anyway, let's not get into that.
All right,
The Hakuna Matata part.
all right.
Well, I'm so happy to have you on, and you are celebrating 15 years. I am so happy for you. It has been a journey, right?
Absolutely. This is it's like a lifetime, you know, a whole different. In my life, I feel like I've had like 4 different lifetimes broken into about 15-year pieces. So this is about the lifespan of this lifetime. So hopefully I can take another one, get into another one, maybe from the
Get
same place.
into it.
Get into it.
Of course, let's first start because you and our lives intermingled so interestingly, and then we ended up working together. But you, first of all, in DC, let's talk about that part, like how you got to meet Amanu and them. Amanu was a person who started your journey into Ethiopia, so I want us to kind of touch on that little part and Harlem jazz and all that great stuff. So how did you and
Absolutely.
Amanu meet?
Well, I was performing with a singer named Wayna in DC, and Amanu was promoting this big concert. I think it was like 3,000 Ethiopians, and Wayne was like, "Can you open the show? Can you play a couple of songs?" And I was like, "All right, that's cool." And I just kind of did me, and it was like 3,000 Ethiopians kind of looking at me like, "That's pretty cool." And so he was like, "Do you know anybody like this guy who might want to come to Ethiopia for 6 months?" And she was like, "Ask him." So like, I had been traveling and touring with a lot of artists and things like that. But I had never been to Africa. So I was like, all right, let's show me the return ticket, and I can pull this off, So I came, and actually a week before I came here, I saw a documentary about Addis Ababa, and it looked like a Caribbean town without the water. So I was like, all right, I can do this, and the rest kind of began sort of a real dope history. So that was the long and short of it.
Yeah, and then you came to Addis, and basically was just about the same time that Amanu was moving back into Addis also.
Yeah.
and he started Harlem Jazz. So why don't you talk about that experience? Because for me, it was like epic. Like Harlem Jazz was just like Addis epic. I can't even explain it. It's like New Orleans meets Miami meets the Caribbean, like Ocho Rios meets,
It would have
if
it
I'm
would
to
have been
think about it.
it would have been a great reality TV show, like, but that's beside the point. I mean, it was kind of like I got dropped into the middle of something and was like, okay, action, so like I kind of just made the most of it. And like I had this idea of Africa as like everything was like Nigeria, and I thought I was gonna have this Fela Kuti kind of band with like 15 percussionists, and I just started getting into like recording music on my laptop. So I was like, yeah, we're gonna make these 10-minute songs of like 10 drummers like playing their rhythms, and I'm gonna be like singing R&B over it. But quickly, that reality changed, and I understood that Ethiopia was it was a very unique and special place that and I sort of dug deep into Ethiopian music, and it was really like the beginning. Yeah, I started getting my eskista on, whatever. You
Yeah.
know, I see you. I see you know what's up. I see you know what's up.
Of course, man. But I'm just promoting. I'm just doing the what is it? I'm just putting in the work as you talk. So keep going. I'm just like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. So yeah, I mean, Harlem Jazz was like a place where everybody came and met up. It was like expats, it was Ethiopians, it was well-to-do Ethiopians, it was people who saved up all their money all week to come out and drink a few beers. Like, and early on, I discovered like sort of learning Ethiopian songs was a very good way to bring everybody together. So I would never stay on a certain type of music for too long. I would mix it like James Brown with Mahmoud Ahmed, which is like one of the greatest Ethiopian singers, and it just be this sort of like mixtape. I approached it kind of like a mixtape. Like I just kept moving. So that was very good, and people really appreciated it. And for 5 years, like every Friday, I never was like, I hope people are gonna come. Like people came like every week, and lines down the road, and it
yeah,
never really lost its edge really, until I was like, I think I would like to sort of get back to, the things that I was doing before, which was like writing my own songs. And, it was definitely a beautiful experience. It was kind of like I never played cover songs before I came here, and which was it's a very good exercise for a musician, is to learn other people's songs, and it really got me open as a songwriter and as a producer, and that's right
yes,
around the time where we started Afro FM.
yeah. Oh my gosh,
That was
yeah.
enter that.
That that was amazing, and yes, it was a whole for me. It was like a Harlem jazz mixture, and then I met the Mahalits, and then I met you, and then Afro started, and then that was a whole other journey that was so beautiful. Getting into the first English radio station, that was amazing. We were
That
batch
could have been a
one.
lifetime. That could have been a lifetime within this lifetime. Like it was so powerful. Like just learning so much, and it was one of those moments where I said, I don't have to be like college educated to do something if it falls within like sort of the natural ebb and flow of what we do. It's like it was just like being on stage on the air.
Yeah. One of the amazing things that I really loved about you was how I put you on the spot, and the first thing was like, hey, can you do the production for us since you're already a musician, you're already producing for everybody. So it was like a check, going back to the bosses and saying, hey, guess what? We've got production. Don't worry about it. We got
that,
drops. Don't even worry about it. It was
that
like the best thing.
that got my production chops really up, because it was like turning things around overnight, like allowed me to like be pretty fast in other forms of production. And like just that deadlines and things like that made me like be able to work focused and like turn things around like overnight and that kind of thing. So that really helped me in my whole production game moving forward, like just to
Yeah.
know my equipment and know the programs and stuff like that. So that I'm super grateful for that.
Oh, that's dope. And then talk to me about, did you,
Unchain My Heart.
Anchikonjo, Wadeshalo, did you produce that? Was that your first album you produced in Ethiopia?
Yeah, that was the first album I produced in the 251.
The 251. I still have that. I'm it's probably one of my favorites. No, that's I can't pick a favorite with you because your transitions in your album and the sound is always really different and yeah. So okay, no, you're just a bad A. Yeah, you're bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're bad.
I just was trying to tell a different like a different vacation. Like every album is like a vacation to a different place, and I report about it. Life moves.
Yeah,
It's really like marking of time.
that's true. Was there, let me ask you the worst question. No, I'm not going to ask you. Sorry. Let's just move past that.
I'm
All
not
right.
scared.
So,
I ain't scared.
no, no, no. No,
All
it's cool. So after, because then we parted ways after some time, 2013, 2014, 2015. Yeah, because I was in and out of Addis. So what, talk to me about some of the work that you've been doing in Addis and the things that have been inspiring you as you've been growing and developing, and talk to me a little bit about what that development is and what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, actually, 2013 was like a year of like reflection and introspection because in 2012 I had put out two albums. I had done this album in Paris, and I thought like, okay, this is gonna be the one. And I did another record with one of my homeboys, Drake King in DC, and I had these two really different kind of albums, and I was like, okay, we about to go there. And that was kind of like a time where the music industry was taking a turn in a different way. So I was a little bit disappointed. So I started really producing more artists and things like that. And I got more into producing music and I got more into fashion at that point. Like that's when I was really kind of getting my feet wet on like creating pieces and things. A lot of it was for stage wear, but that turned into bags and the inspiration was just like I just needed some new. Like I just needed to do something new. Like I felt like I was kind of not really being appreciated like I wanted to be appreciated musically, both here and with the albums I made. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and switch it up and like create in a different medium, which is still the same to me because I think like I'm making bags and making bags to me as like making songs with leather.
Yeah.
So the inspiration is really like, being in sort of I kind of hibernate myself. I have my own little cocoon here. And so I'm just like sort of taking in information that's going on globally and trying to sort of create that reality from this perspective as an American who's living in Ethiopia and who's seeing the world from this sort of other window.
What is I really admire that, especially where you go, and you're a very focused performer because there's a look and a feel, especially when you're going on stage to perform for people. I saw that at Harlem. I saw it throughout. When you were doing concerts, you're very focused and you're very deliberate about why you're what you're wearing, why you're wearing it, the perception that you want everybody else to feel about you. It's the energy that you're basically spreading, for during that night. And I can understand that in terms of creating your pieces. I can see that with you because even when I saw your bags live when you came here in February, up close and personal, they're so beautiful. They're so bespoke. They're perfect. And your details, your attention to details are amazing. So does each bag represent like a different journey or, what has that been like when you're creating those bags?
I mean, I really kind of create things that I would actually use myself. And I think about how a person might dress when they wear the bag. You know what I'm saying? I think about what could a person coordinate this with? and I try not to make it too overpowering. And if it's an overpowering situation, I think about it with, a white tee and denim, like so. I really see it as like a snapshot into someone else's day, or like where they're going to use it. So, it's a colors, it's complementary colors. It's like it's an expression. It's an art based perspective. I'm an art based fashionista, if you will.
Talk to me about your production. I'm really interested in understanding your back end of working, your production. How do you source? How do you, how did you find the artisans to make you your bags? Were they introduced to you, or, how did you handpick them? And yeah, talk to me about that. Like how it's been sourcing leather and the works. It's so exciting.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, my main broham in this thing is his name is Admasu Abra, and Admasu was a guitarist, and we had a mutual friend, and I was like at a point where I was like, man, I would like to really take this bag thing up a notch, and she was
Yeah.
like, well, I know this guy called Admas, and he knows you, and he used to come see you at Harlem Jazz, and he's a guitarist, and he studied at the Leather Institute at Addis Ababa
Wow.
University. So he came through, and like, we had this mutual sort of love for music and this mutual love for leather. And like the first day he sat down, he was like, okay, I think I can help you. Like, I think I can help you because I wanted to make it very streamlined. I wanted, before, in early on in the days, there were sort of like individual pieces that were never the same. So I was like, my idea is definitely in more of a manufacturing company. So he said, okay, so he's an architect as well. So he made the first Undken pattern, like that was a proper production pattern, So he made it, and I was like, oh, this is, I've been looking for you all my life, So he had a teammate, not a teammate, a schoolmate that also was like a master sewer. So they spoke the same language. He and I spoke this musical language, and then it was born. And then we started being a little bit more prolific. And we first were sourcing from Mercato, which is the largest open air market in Africa, but that was kind of hit or miss. And then a couple of years ago, we started going to Batu Tannery, which is a very great tannery here in Ethiopia. And I just pretty much touch and feel everything, as well as our fabrics that we're using these days. Coming from Burkina Faso, it's a batik, which a friend of mine's grandmother makes in her village with a small cast of characters, So it's a very like everybody has their hands on. It's no like machinery going on except for sewing machines, So I personally can say I touch every element of the bags up to this time, which is oops, got a little excited
No
over here.
worries.
So yeah, so it's a very hands-on, touchy-feely kind of way.
DJ, just one moment, please. My son is interrupting my podcast. Yes, darling. Go ahead. This is our life.
Break. Let's
Go
take a
ahead.
break. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so we just try to and as of now, our pieces are really one of one. There are styles of bags which we do over and over again, but we never use the same color combinations and textile combinations. And I just felt like that's cool because the whole reason why I started making clothes for myself is because I was on stage and I bought this jacket at one of these shops. And when I looked out in the audience, another guy had on the same jacket. So I was like, ooh, we don't want that. So I just really wanted to
Yeah.
make something very unique. So people have it and it never really happens again. So
One of a kind pieces. I think that's really important, and I really like the the story behind it. That it also has a musical. It has a musical platform. Seeing that you and your head
my business partner.
yeah, your business partner, that you guys are both, musically, like you said, in tune. I think that's really beautiful. What is it
There's
like? Had your team grown?
Well, yeah, our team grew a little bit, but we kind of got back into the core, by the end of last year. So, you know, sometimes everybody doesn't always go with your vision, So you have to be very cautious with who enters your vision, because not everybody's going to see it the way you do. And I think this is very important. You might think, oh, we got an extra set of hands or we got an extra mind. But if everybody's not having the same goal in mind, then you don't actually reach that goal. You're actually fighting internally. So I think, it's very, very important. I would say to anybody in business, when you select like business partners and things like that, is to really understand like that you both have the same goal in mind. It's like any relationship. It's a very intimate relationship, almost as intimate as
Absolutely.
a lover, like so, you know, this is very important. And this is what I learned in the last year.
I think that is really important. Actually, somebody echoed the same sentiment yesterday. I was on a Zoom speak, and the person who that was being interviewed is a business person of one of the largest. He's one of the heads of Bidco, and he was just saying, listen, if you're a 50 mile an hour type of person, you need to get somebody else who is 50 miles an hour. If you're a 10 mile an hour, you need somebody who's 10 miles an hour. Otherwise, your business just stops making sense. So, yeah, I that is absolutely true. If people don't see your vision, then there's no point in even working with them.
And it's not
It,
personal. It's not personal. It's just
no.
a nature of the type of relationship.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And so, how has it been this year for you? Just let me just talk about this year and the pandemic, and your working space and the brand. How has it been doing?
Yeah, actually, a lot of things happen at the same time, which is actually really good. It's like maybe if you need an open heart surgery and you need a liver transplant, if they can go in and do both of them at the same time, you don't have to do two surgeries. So that's
Yeah.
how I would say this year has been. It's been a sort of a refresh. Like we could go two steps backwards to go four steps forward. So. And it's been, I think for creatives, it's been a beautiful year. Like it's been a moment where you use creativity for survival. Usually we use creativity to create, but I think the creatives that I know have had to use that skill and that gift to reimagine the future. So um,
Yeah.
it's been a beautiful, beautiful year for me, like, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful for sure. Like, and now we are strictly dealing with online, and we actually participated in a couple of local artisan bazaars and things like that. It's the perfect time because it's the holiday season, and we are really, really excited about you know pushing
Yeah.
forward in 2021 in a brand new way. And it was like where I was a year ago, rewind, come again, and then replay in a different manner. So I'm super excited, and in that year we've been able to make better products. Like, you know, we took some blows. Even internally, even amongst each other, there was a moment where I was like, I'm done with all of y'all. But then I said, wait, communicate these things because we're family, and that's the way I approach this business. It's not really a business to me. It is more like a family. It's more like family matters,
Yeah.
and it's a family business to me. We eat together. We vibe together. We make music together, and that's a beautiful thing.
It is. This year for sure has opened up. I had been thinking about doing a podcast maybe last year, and somehow I just did not find the time for it. And this year was brilliant because it just forced me to get into a space where I was like, I love being on radio, and since radio is not going to hire me at this point because everybody's getting, salary slashes and stuff like that, I was like, well, I could still carry those conversations, thanks to all these online platforms, and as well as my brand itself, the core Fashion Kenya, has also had to have open heart surgery. What are the things that I love? What are the things that I really want to incorporate? And I remember you telling me in February, you were like, make no excuses and do you. And and I think this is part of the living up to that. All right, so how now that you're in a beautiful Undken space, wait, I have to first share the comments. Let me throw this back. I really love this. So, Maito Wanjiro is saying, I'm enjoying this conversation. Marie Wilela, let me put it on the screen, is saying, Kenny, that's a whole Kenny.
That's right.
Undken is amazing. The quality of the product, the care that's put into it, the creative effort. It's such an elegant product. I I'm with you, honey. I'm with you. And she says, thank you for creating it. And guess who is on? Oh my gosh. Hey, DJ Bunty. So he's like, hi, Linda. I had the privilege of listening to Kenny Allen's live years back in Virginia. He did different Ethiopian renditions. It was amazing. He spoke Amharic well. He still does, man. And his music was dope. It's still dope. He's amazing. You're right, Banti. He's like a hands down. Skit stop. Gotta go into my skits. No, so one of the things now, I mean, like, what are you planning out your 2021, or are you, you know, what are you getting into? What's the plan?
Right now, we have a very, very big opportunity that's on the pipeline or in the pipeline, which I won't go into too many details, but it's a program which helps businesses like ours in the leather industry in Ethiopia learn and be accredited to export to the EU. So we're in the last selection of that. So we praying that we get into that. It's a 5-year program, and that would really kind of be a game changer, because that's really how I see it. Is like being able to really get that guidance, that professional guidance and that proper training. Because this is a freestyle for me right now. Like, this is like just a passion project that just turned into like reality and PLCs and all that stuff. So, I'm just sort of like praying on that and just hoping that that goes through, so we can really, get a little bit of like muscle behind the idea. Because even when I first started, I remember Linda was like, "Babe, I love what you do, but the finishing is," I'm like, I know, I'm working on that. I'm working on that. Like, the vision was so clear to me, but I knew that I was still an infant. But I had already seen myself running around tracks, but I couldn't. That's a visionary's perspective, because only a visionary can see it like farther ahead down the line. And I knew where I was headed to. And it's one of those things where I tell people always come to me musically. They're like, "Kenny Allen, why don't you hook me up? Because I'm trying to be famous." And I'm like, you need to take them 1,000 steps before you get to 1,000. There's no shortcuts to that. So, you know, this is the moment, we've been all waiting for. We've made our mistakes. We've fallen. We've learned how to pick ourselves up. We know how to dust off shoulders. So 2021, I really want to just get that international exposure to the brand. Like, I'm ready for Al Jazeera. I'm ready for CNN to do African voices and all that stuff. Like, we're just really trying to get that media platform so that people can hear the story, because there's a lot of people that make bags. There's not a lot of people who have that story behind it. And I believe it's a story because I've lived it, not because I've invested in it, but I've lived it. Every day is about, what do I do today creatively that just helps me get, further frequent flyer miles in creativity.
Yeah. I believe that. I mean, like, I believe in the power of, I knew that you had your vision. So let me first clear the air. I knew you had the vision, and one of the things that I really that I appreciate about you is how you are a go-getter, and you once you put your eye on the prize, you're like, I'm coming. It may take me some time, but I'm coming. I see you. And I feel like that's exactly where you are. You're at a place where, yeah, African Voices needs to reach out. Al Jazeera, I feel like what's that show with Michael Strahan and all those guys? I feel like they all just need to talk to you, because you
I
have a
mean,
very courageous journey.
I'm already into the core. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm already beyond those platforms. So yeah, I'll if you hear me.
Holla. Anyway, yeah, I mean, like I'm super, super, super proud of you. I mean, and let me ask you a question. Getting into the EU market and being supported by platforms, say within all these USAID. I remember Ato Addis Ababa. He was super into really supporting brands and everything. Do you feel that in Addis right now in Ethiopia that you guys are getting a lot of brand support? When you put yourself out there, are you getting the brand support? And also, it's a two-part question. And also, what is the customer experience, like the buying power of your Abesha clientele, customers?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely try to make it accessible to everybody, and that's why we're appearing at a lot of like bazaars and things like that. And for somehow, and I don't want to, and I don't jinx this, but somehow, even though we all use sort of the same leather, like somehow people recognize something slightly different about what we do, and I'm grateful for that. And it's not something I overthink. It's just I'm just being myself, and I think this year's word of the year, and I'm going to take it to the next 3 or 4 years, is authenticity, and it's about like really just being your authentic self, and that goes across the board on every art form. You got to be yourself. If you try to copy somebody else's vibe, you'll never be as good as the original. But if you are the best you, then you are going to be the perfect original. And I think that's really where I am with it. And I think people appreciate my grind. Yo. I grind. Even my friends who get to be around me or who are around me, they see that I'm like, you know, I'm up at night. I'm burning both ends of the candle, and I'm trying to like perfect it as best as possible. And I use every ounce of energy. When I go to sleep at night, I'm proper tired because I have lived the whole day and I'm ready to just turn around and do it the next day. So, I definitely like want to make things that Ethiopians globally can say, hey man, and our brand Undken made in Ethiopia. I always represent, Ethiopia with that brand. It doesn't have to be made in Ethiopia, but it kind of goes along with the tagline. It's a tagline. Undken means one day. When I came up with the name, I was thinking one Kenny. Ken is the day. I was like, and I felt like I was made in Ethiopia, like the mob was made. I feel like this is where it really happened. So that whole thing is a part of the tag. So I'm always representing, and I'm grateful to actually make leather products in a place where they consume so much meat. Because as a vegan, it's a little bit hard for me to like swallow that. But I know that nothing was slaughtered just to make my bag. It's a byproduct. It's good for the environment. Don't mark my words on that, but that's how I feel, and I feel good about it already.
What do you think about fair trade practices and paying, and for people to even understand that when they're paying for the product, everybody else, you're contributing to sustainable livelihood, and people are getting paid fair, and you're paying fair prices. Is there a back end story to that?
I
And
mean,
what do you think about it anyway?
I would actually, I'm actually, because I'm more of a creative than I'm a businessman, I'll spend my last dime to pay my employees like more than they would get from someone else. And
Yeah.
and and if I'm eating really good and my employees are not eating really good, that makes me a pretty scumbag of a person. So, I'm saying I want everybody to eat, and I want everybody to come along. And there's times where I don't even pay myself just to make sure everybody's working. During the pandemic when that started, we weren't working, and I made it a point to make sure my employees were getting paid because they rely on us. And like, fortunately, my hustle is so wide that I'm getting money from different places, so I don't really have to like penny pinch on this passion project. Although I know it's an investment that's bigger than money. You also invest in good karma. You also invest in goodness, general goodness. And I'm a
Yeah.
general goodness kind of person. Like that's my vibe. Like because at the end of the day, you could be, God rest his soul, Steve Jobs on his deathbed was like, I can't take none of this with me. So, it's all about this earthly experience and making the most of it and doing right by that. Because at the end of the day, you got these check marks. Like, damn, did I do good
Yeah.
by my people? Did I do good by the people who made me who I am or made this business who I am? So fair trade is like all I'm probably too fair almost.
Your fairest trade.
I'm the fairest of the fairest.
Fairest of the fairest. I was just watching something with Tisha Campbell and Tashina Arnold's, and it cracked me up just now when I said fairest trade. I was like light skinned it. All right, you're light skinned it with the trade business.
You
I
already
like it.
know.
Yeah. So I really want to, I feel like I've experienced everything about Undken. And you know what? Not really experienced because I know it's going to keep changing and keep evolving. So I am looking forward to that. Is there anything musically that we should be expecting from you?
I just need like one more good heartbreak, and then I'll be back on it.
God damn.
I need to get my heart
Chiconjo.
broken. I need to get my heart broken a little bit. No,
You're like Brandy.
you already know. Like, ain't no good music
Brandy
without.
waits for like 8 years and then her heart is broken and she's just like, woo, woo, and we're like, damn, that is a beautiful record.
You
Meanwhile,
know.
she's like hurting inside. Okay.
But I'm really more about the production side these days because I just feel like a little bit more. I don't know, like somehow being a producer has a little bit more respect. Unfortunately, people have a habit of taking advantage of the artist, but as a producer, they're like, oh, he's a producer. So, I mean, beyond that, it's like I've said a lot. I have 9 records that you can find those on kennyallen.bandcamp.com. And I said a lot, and even where my mind is right now, actually, my mind is like music without words, because I feel like I can paint pictures a little bit more vividly without putting my voice on it, because my voice can only really work in certain musical aspects, but my music can cross boundaries, and it's a more, how do I say, it's a more widespread art form for me to create music. So I'm more
Yeah.
interested in producing music these days.
I love it. Any any bands we should be looking out for?
Actually,
Are they just local or both local and international?
I'm working with a Kenyan reggae singer named Nixon Omolo, and we're actually in the middle of a 7-song. In,
I
into
love
the
it.
core.
I know what.
So that's my project. We plan to finish that up in the next week or two. And I really do want to make. It's funny. This morning I woke up and I said my ego wants to make music because I kind of miss the idea of like being in the middle of a record. Like I'm making a record right now. It fills me to know that I'm busy in that regard. But also I just want to make the next record I make. I want to make the record that I've never made before. And I want to go ham on it, and I'm gonna sing like nobody's listening and dance like nobody's watching. And that's the record I want to make. And I'm not free enough right now because my mind is in the business right now. But I would love to get so stable with the business that I can take myself to some remote place and lock myself somewhere where there's water, maybe somewhere in Kenya, and just
Abs-
do do some crazy music I never made before, but heartful.
You know where you need to go? I have the perfect place for you. It is called Mararaha and it's in Lamu. It just opened up. My girl, Wamuhu, just opened it. I think maybe it's been like 2 weeks now, but that joint is sick. It is beautiful. Like creatively, where you're just thinking, in my head, I was like, ooh, the fashion event that I could have here. Musically, it's that space. It's like in a beautiful village-esque, where you're watching sundown, moon rises. It is, ocean, right in front of you. Anyway, that's the place I feel like you could go and just be creatively, unleash the inner Kenny.
So
But, I just feel like with respect to people's creative spaces. There's some spaces that just ignite and build beautiful stuff, and I feel like that's definitely one of the spaces. It's one of the spaces I do want to host. I do want to put or create an installation, a fashion installation of some sort. So I'm definitely thinking about that, but I know that you would love it. Oh, it's got Harlem jazz vibes to it. Somehow.
Put me in, coach.
I'm I'm putting you in the game. Watch this space. Watch this space. So now, are we done talking business so that I can make some fun of you?
Yes.
We are. Oh wait, no. Plug in your website so that we could get some sales going up.
All right. The website is undken.com.
UNEKEN.com.
UND.
UND. Undken.
Yeah.
Nde arabanatish Linda.
Linda's fluent in Amharic. But
I know.
I'm
I'm just trying to show that I know these things.
No, take that.
Did you
E
take
out.
that Korokonch road? Actually, that's the thing, is that in life we should never ever take Korokonch roads.
Take the E out. UNDKEN.
Let's edit that. UNDKEN. 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 Yeah. All right, let's go.
There we go.
We
Looks
good?
beautiful. That looks right.
Yeah, it does. It's beautiful. All right.
I make fun
We're
of me.
good. So what's up, Salt and Pepper?
You know.
You know what? I gotta say this though. I feel like you look hotter now than you did like when I first met you. Cause then you just had the young and the restless. They're like, oh Kenny Ellen, wish I love you. And now I just feel like, tell me the kind of flavors that you're getting your way. Lie to me.
Well, Linda, I'll tell you the truth is that, the young girls think I remind them of their father. And the older women know that I got some mileage on me. I'm not going to break down on the side of the road. And the fact that I've been eating super duper healthy and working out every day, it's like,
Oh look.
it kind of makes me feel. I feel like I'm exuding from the outside, from the inside out.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I consider it going platinum. I'm going platinum.
I love it. I love it. But you look really handsome. You look really healthy. Last time when you were here in Nairobi, you cooked for me your vegan food, which you need to share some recipes with me because I'm just becoming a well-rounded person.
That's good.
And I don't feel like being well-rounded right now. I feel like I should just stick to the point.
Stick to the point. Stick to the point. But you got this. You got this, Linda. You got
Well,
this.
I really love having you, and I'm gonna have you again next year. And for sure, you're also part of a project that I'm doing that is gonna launch in January, God willing. Yeah, so I'm really excited about everything that you do. I'm excited about your journey, and I want to cheers to your next 15 years. Where's your cheers?
Cheers.
Cheers, darling, to your next 15 years. May you be great. May you be awesome. And let us know if you need our help.
We're always here for each other. I'm here for you, and you here for me. And I can't wait to get back to Kenya once this world cleans itself up a little bit. And we're going to the beach next time.
Absolutely. 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 All right. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast, and I look forward to catching up with you later on. Yes, Emmanuel, he's a vegan, a Kenyan vegan. No, yeah, I'm a different kind of Kenyan. Don't, shh. don't say it. I know we love our nyama choma. Yeah, but no, not so much me. But I could do the chicken and everything. But I don't know what happened. We have to speak to my mom now about this. But all right, sending you love. wishing you the best. And thank you to everybody for plugging in, listening in. Thank you to Nokia, my partners. I want to thank Crafted Nairobi. I see your brand. I see you. I want to say thank you to Itikadi for always standing with me. And of course, I look forward to working with all of you. Have a beautiful night. Mwah!